So, what's up, guys? This is Koichi Asami with Occupy. And a few months ago, I started doing a thing for Reverend Richard Thebo. He's the owner of the Open Door Mission. He opened that mission in '87, and I did a homeless feed across the street from his place and found out that I'd heard before that from a lot of people some things about him. I didn't really pay much attention to it. But on that day, I heard that he was charging people to stay there. He was raping women. There was supposed to be mice and bed bugs and rats in the place, and he was serving food there for people. So I started to try to do a campaign against him to try to maybe stop him. Everybody was telling me you can't do this because he's too big, and he has people in the city council, and it's not going to work. All this kind of stuff, because he's got too many high influences and too many people that like him too much. And they said because you're just one guy and you're with Occupy, obviously you're not going to do anything. So I went to the city council and I told them what I had heard, and I guess people had been trying to get rid of him for many, many years. He'd been open, like I say, since '87. He moved to to his new location in '93. So it was just me. I'm with Occupy Northern Colorado, and that's just me, nobody else. And it's because I was with Occupy Fort Collins for a while, and all they wanted to do was talk. They didn't want to actually do anything. They still meet once a week and just talk, and they don't actually do anything. So I went to the city council meeting and told them everything I knew. Told them that after I was leaving the city council that I would be talking to the police, and that I would be I told them that I would be talking with the police, and that I would be going to the health department, and I would be talking to them, so they would go in there and do a health inspection on his place, because I'd heard some things about the mice and whatnot. And they took me seriously because I'd been in there before. Sorry, I got a cold. And so they actually took me serious. And about a week after I went there, I had two police officers show up at my homeless feed and started asking me what I knew, and said they were on the case. So they had put two police officers on his tail. And what I just heard tonight, this was in November, so it took them a little while. But what they've done now is, as of yesterday, they've arrested him, and he is now in jail. And they are charging him with basically kind of like embezzlement. Basically, he's been for years taking money from the city of Fort Collins, people who donate to him, from people that stay there, the homeless people. So they got him, I think, for misappropriation of funds. And I don't know if he'll serve any time for that, but I'm actually going to go talk to the district attorney, and I'm going to be a witness against him. So hopefully we can get him out of here. And as far as I know, from what they told me, as of Sunday night, the Open Door Mission will be closed. And because of what I said at the city council statement, they already had said that in September of this year they were going to revoke his, they were actually going to not renew his lease to the city. Because in the city of Fort Collins, most cities, if you want to have a homeless shelter, you have to have a lease. And because he had so many people come and talk about him and say bad things about him, and they've been doing it for years, they decided to just get rid of his lease. So they were just going to shut him down like that. And now they've actually put him in jail because he's obviously a criminal. He's been doing this for many, many years. So many people that said I couldn't do it because it was just one person. One person can affect nothing. You can't affect any change. You can't do anything. Well, there you go. I just proved you wrong. There's many people that say I can't climb and I can't do the world record because you just can't climb that high with no ropes and blah blah blah. That's bullshit too. Here's another thing I just proved, that was crap. One person can do a lot. I just shut down the open door mission. I'm also going to open it back up. So the Denver Rescue Mission has been trying for many years to open up that mission and get Reverend Thebo to sell it to them. But the problem is Reverend Thebo didn't want anybody to know about his books, didn't want anybody to know how much money he was making. He had like a $500,000 house down in Loveland, and he had 6 cars. And the dude has like people coming to his house that are homeless people. He's allowing them to stay at his shelter for free. If they come to his house and like regrout his tile and paint his house and do things like this. So he's got these like slave labor people working for him. And that's how he makes all his money. And he's doing this under the guise that he's a religious person, which he's obviously not. He's an asshole. So yeah, this is what I've done, and I've actually got rid of this asshole now. And the Denver Rescue Mission wants to open it back up for 1 year in the same location and clean up the place. They're going to get rid of all the mice and rats and cockroaches, whatever else might be in there. They're going to clean it up, make it to where people can actually live there and feel safe and not be raped, things like this. And after about a year, they said they wanted to tear the place down and rebuild a new building there. So we should be able to get the homeless people now that don't have any place to stay, but it's actually getting warm out, so they really don't really need a place. That's really, most of the homeless people need a place to stay during the winter because it's very cold. But it's getting to be summer, and like right now, it's like 68 degrees out right now, and it's like almost 1 o'clock in the morning. So they shouldn't have any trouble with that now. So what we're gonna have happen is we're gonna try to open this place back up, and hopefully, if we can, we might try to get even another shelter opened up because Mr. Thebo has been standing in the way of a lot of shelters opening up in this city because he doesn't want to lose money, and he was making a lot of money. As of 1987 until now, he's made over $2.1 million just off of homeless. And then off the donations that people give him, and people give him money, and people give him clothing, and he has a little store that he sells clothes in and stuff, and they donate things. He'd have all of his guys go through it. They put stuff in there that he thinks they could sell. Stuff that he doesn't think will sell, that's what he gives to the homeless people. So with all of that, and money that's given to him for Christmas, and to help out homeless people, and food, this man's probably made $5 or $6 million off of homeless since '87, and he does nothing but say that he's a minister, which he's not. He actually was a salesman, and the story that he tells on his website is that he heard voices in the back of the car when he was driving, when he was doing sales. He was driving on the road, and he didn't know what it was. At first he thought it was the radio, and then after a while he realized it was actually Jesus or God or something talking to him in the back of the car, and that meant he should become a minister. So, and as a minister, that means he should go and rip off homeless people. That's basically what he decided to do. So yeah, this is what this man has done, and I've stopped him now. And the problem is there's also some city officials that were involved in this, and the reason why they hooked on it so quickly is because there's city officials that have been paid off by Mr. Thebo over the last 20 years. One of them was a Mr. Martinez, the ex-mayor of Fort Collins, who before he was the mayor was sitting on the board of directors for the Open Door Mission, which screams of basically being paid off. And there's many police officials and other people like that as well in the city, and there's always paper trails. You can always find paper trails. So I believe we'll find some stuff on these people, and we'll be able to take them down as well. And I think that's why they were so quick to act on what was said about Reverend Thebo, because they know if somebody starts hunting into Reverend Thebo's money and his books, they're going to find city officials. So this is what's being done, and I hope you guys realize that even though you're one person, that if you really want to do something, you can, and you can effect some real change. So that's all I wanted to tell you guys, and I hope you go out, try to effect your own change, and if you have somebody doing something and you think it's wrong, go to city councils and start talking to people, trying to get some stuff done, and you can effect change. So have a nice day, and peace.